We have here today the 6-34701 Pennsylvania Railroad R-16 Sharknose AA set. These Sharknoses are available in an AA, which includes a powered A and a non-powered A unit, both equipped with Legacy. They're also available with a separate sale non-powered B unit and a separate sale powered B unit. Out of the box, you will receive the powered A unit, the non-powered A unit, the instruction manual for loading the memory module, the instruction manual for the AA set, 4 replacement traction tires, 2 pair of American flags. These American flags install in the flag holders just above the cab windows on both A units. The memory module specific for the AA set, 2 smoke fluid pipettes, and 2 smoke fluid funnels. These engines are also available in Delaware and Hudson, Baltimore and Ohio, New York Central, and Southern Pacific Daylight. In each instance, the AA is available, as well as a powered B unit and a non-powered B unit. The powered B unit does not include an orange engine memory module. However, it does include an instruction manual, 4 replacement traction tires, the smoke fluid pipette, and the smoke fluid funnel. The B unit is equipped with an electrocoupler on the rear of the B unit, same end that the directional lamp is on. It is also outfitted with a fan-driven smoke unit and dual vertical can motors. The non-powered B units do not include anything in the package aside from the non-powered B unit itself. It features dummy couplers on either end and does not include a fan-driven smoke unit. The non-powered B units are merely a boxcar in the shape of a locomotive. Both the powered and non-powered A units on the Sharknose AA sets are equipped with fan-driven smoke units. The outlet port is here, and upon closer inspection you'll see that that outlet port has a screen cast into the plastic shell. It's very difficult to install smoke fluid here, so what we've done is we've added a smoke access point. Simply remove this hatch by pulling straight up, and the smoke fluid installs here. You want to make sure that you reinstall this smoke access hatch because the funnel is directly underneath this inlet hole and this outlet hole going down to the smoke unit. If this hatch is not reinstalled, smoke vapors will come out of both holes instead of just one. On both the powered B unit and the powered and non-powered A units, the smoke inlet hole for adding smoke fluid is underneath this square hatch that sits on an angle of the roof. It's important to note that out of the box, a lot of times these hatches will be very difficult to remove. They are a press fit into the shell, and sometimes you just can't get these out with your fingers. So what we recommend is that you remove the shell from the frame of the locomotive to press that hatch out manually using your thumb or the blunt end of a screwdriver. We're going to take a moment and pull the screws out of this powered B unit to demonstrate what we're talking about. There are a total of 6 Phillips head screws located on the underside of the frame. 2 towards the front, another 2 towards the rear, just after the fuel tank, and finally 2 more at the other end of the locomotive. By removing those 6 screws, you're able to remove the shell from the frame. Once you have the screws removed from the frame and the shell, you can remove the shell from the frame itself. Simply look to the interior of the shell, locate the small device or the plug from the roof to the inside. Using your thumb, press on it lightly, and the hatch will simply pop out. Now is a great time to add smoke fluid while you have the shell off. As you can see, there's a funnel here. Smoke fluid is added from this side, and the exhaust is on this side. The funnel is pretty large. Simply add your smoke fluid here using the smoke fluid pipette that comes with the powered A, dummy A, or powered B unit. Angle it and insert your smoke fluid. Now you can put the shell back onto the locomotive, making sure that the wire does not interfere with the flywheel on the motor. Simply place the shell back on the frame until the alignment holes or mounting tabs of the shell line up with the frame, and then reinsert the screws and tighten them. The Sharknose A units are equipped with top accessible switches. These switches are located underneath this battery hatch. To remove this hatch, simply pull straight up and work it out from underneath the antennas. The switches inside are smoke on-off, Odyssey on-off, and program run. When the switch is in the SMK position, that means the smoke unit is on. The no SMK position means the smoke unit is off. The Odyssey 2 speed control, while it's in the ODY position, speed control is enabled. No ODY turns the speed control off. The program run switch is used for assigning the engine ID number in the legacy mode, or with TMCC1. Place the switch in program, apply power, then assign the engine ID number, place it back in run to operate the locomotive. If you're operating in a conventional environment, the program run switch is used as the E-unit lockout. So placing the switch in the program position will lock the engine into one direction all the time. Finally, we have the manual volume pot, which is used to control the overall volume in conventional mode. You can also set the volume using this pot, and that volume will not raise above that level even with a legacy remote. The non-powered A unit also has top accessible switches, which allow you to remove the hatch and access the switches. You'll notice that this only has two switches, smoke on-off and program run. The functions are the same as they are on the powered A unit, but since the non-powered unit has no motors, there's no need for an Odyssey on-off switch, and since it has no sounds, there's no need for a volume control. The powered B units are also equipped with top accessible switches. By simply removing this hatch, you can access the program run, Odyssey on-off, and smoke on-off switches. The smoke on-off switch, when in the SMK position, turns the smoke unit on. In the no SMK position, the smoke unit is off. When it's in the ODY position, the Odyssey 2 speed control is enabled. In the no ODY position, the Odyssey 2 speed control is disabled or turned off. Finally, we have the program run switch. Place the switch in the program position to assign it a new engine number using Legacy or TMCC1, and place it in the run position to operate the locomotive. If you're operating in a conventional environment, the program position will be used as your E-unit lockout to keep the engine running in one direction at all times. These powered B units are equipped with smoke units, and the guidelines for filling the smoke is the same. Remove the hatch, add your smoke fluid here, reinstall the hatch, and the exhaust for the smoke vapors comes out this hole here that has the grills molded into it. Now our Pennsylvania RF-16 Sharknose diesels, our powered A unit cab number is 2020, and using our numbering convention of the last two digits of the road number, we're going to select engine 20. So on our legacy remote, we press engine 20, so 20 is displayed here. We press the info key in the upper right hand corner, and we press the button under load. It tells us to insert the engine memory module, which is the orange module that came with our Sharknose powered A. We insert it with the silver circle L facing up. It tells us the module is inserted. It's a Pennsylvania 34702 Sharknose, number 2020. Load engine data. Press the button under yes. It tells us the engine data is loaded, and we remove the module to continue. What this has done for us briefly is it's already assigned the name. By pressing the scroll button in the upper left hand corner, it has set our type to diesel. Pressing scroll again, it has set our control to legacy mode. Pressing scroll again, it has set our sounds to legacy rail sounds. To exit this menu, we press the info key, and now our road number appears momentarily. Across the top, it tells us it's a Pennsylvania Sharknose. On the touchpad, we have volume up, crew talk, manual RPMs up, volume down. The black circle is engine shutdown. If I turn the throttle, move the throttle out, the circle turns to a triangle. That triangle is emergency stop. When I turn the throttle back and it's a black circle, it's shut down. Manual RPMs down, tower comm, smoke off, smoke on, engine reset, Rule 17 lighting enabled, Rule 17 lighting disabled. By pressing the speed bar, I have my 6 preset railroad speeds, tower comm, smoke off, smoke on, my bar graph, which is directly proportionate with my increase and decrease in labor effects, and number 1, which is engine roll speed. That is the very first speed step the engine will attain. It is important to note that out of the box, the Sharknose AAs are equipped so that the powered A unit starts with the nose forward and the non-powered A unit starts with the nose backwards. So it's important that you assign both engines the same engine number. There's only one memory module per AA set, and that engine memory module is for the powered unit. The non-powered unit must be the same engine number unless you plan to operate the powered A along with the separate sail powered B unit and the non-powered A unit in a lash-up. Then you must assign it as a lash-up. Let's go ahead and get our locomotive lubricated and we can get it on the track. Now, before we place any locomotive on the track for the first time, we want to make sure we conduct a little preventive maintenance. On these Sharknose AAs, powered B units and non-powered B units, you want to be sure that you apply just a little bit of light oil on the axles where they go through the bearings in the truck. Just a small drop is necessary, and you want to repeat this process for all 4 axles on the locomotive. You can also apply a small drop of oil on the axle for the collectors. Make sure you do this to all the collectors across the entire set, not only the powered A, but also the non-powered A and the powered B unit. The non-powered B units do not feature collectors, so there's no need to oil them because they're not there. Work that oil in with your finger, and we're ready to put this locomotive on the tracks. It is important to note that you want to keep grease off of your external gears. This will prevent the locomotive from picking up debris and getting it clogged in the gears, thus degrading the overall performance of the locomotive. Now, before we get our locomotives on the track and running, we first want to program them. We've already told our remote that the AA set is going to be engine 20 based on the last 2 road numbers, or last 2 digits of the road number of the powered A unit. Since this is an AA set and it's set up out of the box so that the non-powered trailing A unit starts in reverse and has a rear electrocoupler even though it's on the front of the locomotive, we need to call both A units engine 20. So to do this, we need to remove the hatch on the rear of both A units. They're just held on with magnets, so they come off relatively easily. Take them out from under the antennas and place both locomotives in the program position. Now we can apply power. Using our legacy remote, we're going to press engine 20 in the set button. The horn blows to confirm that it took the command. We can now turn the track power off. Place our program run switches back in the run position and replace the battery hatches. Now, before we get the locomotives running, we want to make sure that we add smoke fluid. So using the pipettes that came with the locomotive and Lionel premium smoke fluid, we're going to fill the pipette up roughly about 3/4 of the way from the tip of the pipette to the first line. Carefully remove the smoke fill hatch on the side of the shell, or side of the roof rather, and place the pipette so that it's firmly seated in the smoke funnel. Squeeze the fluid in and replace the cover. Now, on the smoke units for the Sharknose units, it will be very important for you to make sure that you hold down this cap securely and blow air through the smoke outlet hole. This will ensure that the smoke funnel is not blocked. Because of the design of the funnel on top of the smoke unit for this particular model, we put smoke fluid in one side and the exhaust is on the other side. The inlet and outlet hole is actually the same. So we want to make sure that we don't have a meniscus of fluid covering that inlet outlet hole, which is why you're going to hold down this cover and blow into this hole with a firm breath of air. Give me just a moment to perform that task. Now we can be relatively certain that that airway is clear. I've already added smoke fluid to the trailing A unit, but the function is the same. Simply remove the smoke cover hatch, fill up your pipette 3/4 of the way from the tip to the very first line, and add your fluid here. Once again, replace the cover. While holding this down, blow into this hole to make sure that the outlet hole is cleared. At this point, we can get the locomotive powered up and moving. So we apply our track power. Once track power is applied, you will notice that only the number board lights on the trailing non-powered A and the powered A unit are illuminated. The cab light, the headlight, and the rear marker lamps stay off until you address the locomotive. Now that we've assigned it engine 20, take our legacy remote and press engine 20. And if we press and hold the startup button in the lower left-hand corner of the touch screen, we'll get this sequence.
Dispatcher here. Do you copy? Over. Roger that. Please start up and stand by. Copy that, dispatcher. Starting up the engine. Out.
Now that we've started up our sounds, I'm going to go ahead and play the bell for you. The quilling horn, all 3 levels. Tower comm.
Dispatcher here. Please hold for track orders. Over. Understood. Standing by. Out.
Crew talk.
Still have rev. Can I get to the main line? Over. Negative. Hold your position. Over. Gotcha, dispatcher. Waiting for clear. Out.
I'll go ahead and manually ramp up through the RPMs. Notch 8 and back down again. And finally, we're back to idle. We go ahead and turn on the smoke units. By using the smoke on icon, I'm going to press it 3 times to get the smoke level high. It's not uncommon for it to take a few 15, 20, 30 seconds for smoke to start generating. If the locomotives are sitting at idle, it'll typically take longer to generate smoke than when they're moving. Go ahead and get the locomotive moving now. It is important to note that on the powered unit, because it's on rollers, it detects the movement of the motors, therefore the smoke unit knows that it is moving and runs faster. The non-powered A unit has a Hall effect sensor on one axle, and the locomotive must actually be physically moving for the electronics inside to detect that movement, and therefore will increase the output of the smoke unit. So in this demonstration, the non-powered A unit will actually smoke less than the powered A unit because the non-powered A wheels are not actually moving. Go ahead and play the emergency stop sequence.
This is the dispatcher. The emergency stop. Brakes on. Emergency wait to stop.
You get the dialogue, and now it's entirely up to you as to when and how you stop the locomotive. You can apply the brakes, turn the throttle counterclockwise, which we'll just apply the brakes for this demonstration.
We stopped. Everything's okay. Over. Good work. Out.
Okay, I do want to point out that when the locomotive, the powered unit, is poised to go forward and the trailing A unit is poised to go backwards, that the front headlight on the powered A unit is on, and on the rear of the non-powered A unit are the marker lamps. The red marker lamps are on in forward on the back, on the nose of the non-powered A, and when we hit the direction button and change direction, move this track here for you so you can see, the marker lamps on the nose of the powered A unit are now on. When I change direction again, the marker lamps go out and the front headlight comes on once again. And this action is mimicked on the back of the trailing A unit. Okay, these Sharknoses are also equipped with sequence mode. What sequence mode is a series of sound dialogue that is directly proportionate to the throttle action. To enter sequence mode, you simply press and hold the aux1 key or the straight arrow button for 3 seconds until you get 2 dings and a short blast of the horn. I'm going to start pressing it now. The 2 dings in the horn tells us that we've entered sequence mode. Now what happens is when we go to speed step 1, the train does not actually begin to move, but gets ready to move.
We got your signal.
All of these sounds are automatic. I'm not triggering any of them. And then once I turn the throttle to go to speed step 2, the locomotive begins moving. And the bell will turn on and stay on until I reach speed step 23 and beyond. And I'm just going to go ahead and give us some throttle responses so that you can hear the dialogue associated.
We are underway. Over. Acknowledged. Out. I'm at slow speed. Out.
As we slow the train down and get below speed step 23, the bell comes on automatically and plays until we stop.
Train is at a complete stop. I'll let you know when we're moving. Out.
To disengage the sequence mode, we simply press aux1 or the straight arrow key and the engine reset or 0 on the touchpad. The horn tells us that we've left sequence mode. We can also add fuel to this locomotive by pressing and holding the 0 or the reset key on the touchpad. As long as you depress the reset key, it will continue adding fuel. Once you've completed, simply release the reset key and this dialog plays.
Dispatcher, we've got a full tank. Over. Roger that. Out.
Like all legacy locomotives, the Sharknoses are equipped with preset railroad speeds, access under the speed bar. If you press this railroad speed quickly, the locomotive will simply attain that speed. If you press and hold that railroad speed, you'll get a crew dialog. Once you release, the engine will attain that speed. I'll give you an example.
Dispatcher here. Please go to slow speed. Over. Copy that. Increasing to slow speed. Out.
I'm still holding down the slow speed bar or slow speed button on the touchpad. I'm going to release it now. And the locomotive speeds up to that speed. And will maintain that speed unless you or until you adjust the throttle or apply the brakes or move to the next speed step. And one more time.
Dispatcher here. Please go to medium speed. Over. We're at medium speed. Out.
And to stop the train, I'm going to press the brake button. Get the squealing brake sounds. And finally, to turn off the sounds, if we want to shut these engines down on a siding, we can press the aux1 or straight arrow key and press the round black 0 or circle in the middle of the touchpad, and we'll get this dialog.
Going off duty. Have a good one. Out.
Now you'll notice when we shut down the sounds, once again it's like we've just applied track power. Only the number boards are illuminated. The headlight, the marker lights, the cab lights, and the smoke units are all off. And the locomotive will stay like this until we address it again. These Sharknose AAs, as well as the powered B units, make a great combination to any layout. These locomotives have begun shipping to your dealers and should be there soon, and we hope you enjoy them.